exclusively on ESPN Plus. UFC 313, Saturday. Reigning light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira defends his title against number one contender Magomed Ankalaev, and an explosive lightweight bout between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Pazzi. UFC 313, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNPlus.com/PPV.
At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Spanning the globe to bring you the latest in classic rock news and comment. It's the Classic Guitar Rock Daily Update with your host, Jeremy Lunnan.
Hey, we're on. We're live. It's Jeremy. It's the Classic Guitar Rock Daily Update. And it's been a while. As you all know, I was traveling the country. I think I did one update since I got back from Oklahoma. And you see, I'm joined by a friend here today. And this is kind of a special edition of the update because I want you all to meet Dennis. And Dennis, I'm going to talk about you. So if your ears start burning, that's why. So I have known Dennis. Gosh, Dennis, I was thinking about it. It's been over a year that you and I have known each other. And here's how it came about. Dennis, like me, had an online radio station, and it was a really good one. In fact, it was my favorite station that I listened to. I listened to that, The Well, more than any other station. Well, Dennis let me play my daily update. Remember when I used to do it every day? well, when I used to do my update every day, Dennis would broadcast it on his station. So it was really cool. Fast forward, a little time later, and we're going to ask Dennis all about this. Well, he's kind of wound down the Well classic rock station. And so we've kind of been talking, and Dennis is going to be continuing the Well, but as a show now on Classic Guitar Rock Radio. So I'm super excited because I loved his station. I loved his rotation. I loved the music. I loved all your liners and sweepers and everything that you played. Dennis, like me, is an old radio guy. So, we have a lot in common. We both worked. It sounds like kind of small town radio. I don't know if you worked in bigger towns. I started out in a station, literally in a wheat field in Oklahoma. That's what I did. And Dennis is in Arizona and started his station there. But Dennis, I just wanted to bring you on. And first of all, tell us about your radio station, The Well, kind of how long you did it, what made you want to do it, and now you've kind of wrapped it up. So kind of explain to us that, and let's just start from there.
Well, I lived in Phoenix, the Valley area for 30 years. Mm-hmm. And I was used to a radio station there, classic rock. That's my favorite music. So that's what I was listening to there. I ended up moving out here when I decided that I had had enough, of the city and all that. I moved out here to a town called Welton, Arizona. Mm-hmm. And when I got here, I found there was no local classic rock music. There was no stations. And I had all this music. So it just naturally fit with a little bit of a background in radio DJing. I figured, well, I need a hobby. I'm no good at golf, So I don't hate golf. I love golf. Actually, I played it 3 times in my life. I bought clubs and they collected dust. Once I bought them, that's it. I know they never got used. But anyway, I decided, why not do a station? They have streaming stations now. So I looked into that. It was something that was within my budget. So I went ahead and started The Well to go with the town of Welton. And I started broadcasting for the local people. And then I noticed that I was getting a lot of folks in Yuma that were listening. So I expanded my audience and promotions into Yuma. Then it was back into the Valley. I was getting people in the Valley. Then I realized people from Iowa, from Florida were listening from. So I just said, well, we're going to forget all the local stuff and just expand it and just play my music. I really had a great time with it too. 3 years I did that. But as you're aware, running a station is a lot of work.
Yes, it's
It's not what people hear. It's all the behind the scenes stuff that takes the time. And I did it for 3.5 years, and it was just too much. It was more than I wanted to do. It was more than I saw for a hobby. So I wanted to back out of it a bit, and that's what I did. I closed the station down the 30th of last month, actually.
Wow. And I don't know if you can see this. Carol is chiming in. Carol says, hey, Dennis, so glad to see you again doing what you love. So super exciting to see some of your listeners.
Yeah, thanks, Carol.
Carol, thank you so much. I've got
number one fan.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got a friend of mine, Frank McWright, who's actually a DJ. He's a club DJ in Dallas, Fort Worth. Very successful one. And he says, Jeremy, did you know I was on KMGZ for a bit before I left Lawton? Now, Lawton, Oklahoma is where I cut my radio teeth. KMGZ Magic 95 was not the first station I worked at, second station I worked at. And so, yeah, in fact, Frank, when I was just in Lawton 2 weeks ago, I went by and took a picture of the old KMGZ studios. So, Frank, thank you for chiming in as well. And Dennis, you bring up a very good point about the time it takes. And here's what people don't understand. One of the biggest things we have to deal with running a station is licensing, right? Yeah. So I don't know that people are aware of this. You can't just start playing music. You have to pay for licensing. And so that's an expense. And people will be shocked, or maybe they won't be shocked to hear that we don't make any money.
Ever met a foundation that does it all? Say hi to NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. Makeup meets skincare in a bottle. It evens skin tone, blurs imperfections, and has a natural radiant finish. Plus, it's formulated with skincare ingredients to help strengthen your skin's barrier. With a newly expanded shade range of over 40 radiant shades to choose from and buildable all-day wear. NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. Find your perfect match.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey, you're not on mute.
Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate Pina Colada and Thai-iced coffee flavored creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
Not even as an employee at a station, you don't make any money.
Exactly. So there's an expense, right? You have to pay for whatever platform you're using. You have to pay for the licensing to pay to play the music. And so running an online radio station is totally a labor of love.
It's for the love of the music. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And like you, I have a pretty big selection, music selection, album selection. And that's why we do it. We do it for fun. And I'm only just bringing this point up to let folks know. Here's a just a flat out plug, right? If you were ever interested in being a sponsor, you would be surprised at how inexpensively you could market your product on Classic Guitar Rock Radio. You could market it specifically on Dennis's new show that will be playing here on Classic Guitar Rock Radio. So Dennis, I want you to tell us what we can expect. Well, tell us about your show. Here's the part I haven't really said yet. I guess I did, but let's talk about it more. Dennis, tell us about what we can expect from your show that will begin airing, I believe, this weekend on Classic Guitar Rock Radio. So give us the rundown on that.
Well, it's going to be a 4-hour show. The first 3 hours is going to be decade specific. Each show will be decade specific. So it's going to be 70s this particular week. I'll be playing all the music that plays is going to be from the 70s. And so the first 3 hours is going to be general DJ music, having a good time, hearing what we want to hear. Mm-hmm. The last hour, I call that the whole hog. And that's where we're going to play an entire album. Every show, the last hour will be an entire album. This week, it is Damn the Torpedoes by Tom Petty. So it's going to be a fantastic deal. I really put a lot into this first one. It takes a lot to get everything set up. And then from then on, it's just a matter of reusing the intros and so forth, for each show. But it'll be a fantastic deal. So it's going to be 4 hours long, I believe, 9 a.m.
Yep, 9 a.m. on Saturday. And to start out with, guys, 9 a.m. on Saturday, and then we'll replay it 9 a.m. on Sunday. But Dennis, he will go more than that. And so we could conceivably get to where we're doing it, multiple times during the week. We're gonna start out slow, just because and Dennis will tell you to produce a 4-hour show. And I'll tell you this, I used to produce a 1-hour show that played on multiple online stations, and that got to be too much for me to do every week. And so Dennis has assured me, hey, I'm retired, I can do it. So we're going to ease in with Dennis with the one show that will be repeated on Sunday morning, but we could very realistically see that expanding. So I'm super excited about that, Dennis. I think that would be great.
I'm excited about it too. I'm ready to get it rolling. I listen to music anyway, so I might as well hit the record button while I'm doing it, say a few things in between some of the songs, Why not?
Yeah. And as I was saying earlier, if this is something that you like and you want to support, whether it's The Well, and that's the name of the show, it will be called The Well in honor of The Well Classic Rock Station. You could become a sponsor for just The Well. You could become a sponsor for the station, however you want to do that. You can always just email me. In fact, I think I was showing the email earlier. I'll show you that. Marlon's checking in. Hi, Marlon. Thank you for joining us today. You can always email us, classicguitarrock@mail.com, if you'd like to be a sponsor of The Well or just a sponsor in general. Email. And you know what? When you email that comes straight to me. So the staff of CGR is me, right? And then we've got Dennis, of course, who will be doing the show. And as you all know, we already have our Classic Metal Vault, which happens on Friday night as well. So I'm super excited. I've been, I'm biased because it's my station. I love our mix of music. I love the music that we play. But I also love the direction we're going having these shows. So Dennis has a lot of experience, has a great music library, so you'll be able to hear from that music library, and of course from Dennis. So I'm super excited. Now, while I have you here, Dennis, I have to ask this question, and I did not prep you for this, but I'm going to ask the question.
All right.
Who are some of your favorite classic rock groups or artists? Well, I mean, when you say you love to listen to music, if you're listening to music for your enjoyment, what does Dennis listen to? What is the stuff you really like?
All right. So a lot of people, the definition of classic rock, we have to get into that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
The definition of classic rock to me. Now, I've had this conversation hundreds of times with people. Everybody's got their own idea of what classic rock is. All right. To me, classic rock is anything that was a hit in the rock genre, at least, I can't say at least, 20 years or older in that area, and then further back. Okay. That's my definition. Other people will tell you, oh no, it can only be 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
But to me, 20 years and older, I mean, that's a classic car. So, 20 years and older, why not? All right.
Yeah.
I would have to say if I were to choose two bands that I could only listen to for eternity now, and this changes weekly, you have to understand that. Yeah. Depending, I mean, I think it does for a lot of folks.
Yep.
It changes. It would have to be prog rock. It would have to be Rush. It would have to be Pink Floyd. I listen to a lot of Meatloaf. I listen to ZZ Top, AC/DC. I mean, you can't compare these guys to anybody else, but those are my loves. Those are my real loves. I do love Zeppelin. I love the Beatles. I love everybody that's into rock and roll. I have an appreciation for them because they've each got their own style. I'm not so much into Milli Vanilli. I just couldn't catch their sound, but that's it. That's it for me. Pink Floyd and Rush are my two top favorites. Then I would have to say DC.
Marlon says Meatloaf. Marlon, Bat Out of Hell is a phenomenal album. It really is. If you have never listened to the entire Bat Out of, it is one of the most successful classic rock albums ever. I think people sometimes forget what a great album that was.
Yeah. Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Come on.
Yeah. And the whole album, it's, to me, you got to kind of listen to that whole album. And there's certain albums like that. When you're listing all of mine are right here. Rush is probably my favorite band. Rush, ZZ Top is in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a big Cheap Trick fan. Love Cheap Trick as well.
Cheap Trick. Absolutely.
So let me ask the tough question. Controversial. Right. I stir controversy when I ask this question, but I'm going to ask you. Is Nirvana classic rock?
Oh, God. I don't own any Nirvana. I would have to say yes, only because they charted in the rock and roll and 20 years and older. I mean, that fits my definition of classic rock. I don't have to be a big fan of everything, and I won't be. Nobody will be. Nobody's going to be a big fan of everybody. And everybody's going to have their reasons for it. There's a lot of people who say Nirvana ruined Seattle, the Seattle sound. I don't know. And I don't even want to discuss Courtney Love, but, I don't know. No, I would, yes and no. I wouldn't consider him classic rock. Would I play him as classic rock if somebody wanted it? Yeah.
Yeah. And so Marlon says, you ought to know, Jeremy, most of the best music was never successful or played on the radio. And I think that's probably true, but I think here's what I think about this, Marlon. I think success how can I say this? You might be able to help me, Dennis. The successful stuff is common enough among a lot of people that we all relate to it. So yeah, I can go deep with my own band, my own favorite bands. Like my all-time favorite ZZ Top song is a song no one has heard before. It's called Master of Sparks. That's my all-time favorite ZZ Top song from Tres Hombres. No one's heard it. So guess what? I'm okay playing the hits because that's what everyone knows, right? And to your definition, Dennis, you said it was popular enough during the rock era that I mean, so yeah, we are playing the successful stuff. That's kind of the common denominator. But I do agree with what Marlon's saying, that the best stuff usually doesn't get played on the radio.
Well, you're talking about folks that have understanding of music here, you know, and most people, and I'm not knocking anybody because you know, most people, they have other lives. I had music. That was my love. But you know, and so they hear what's on the radio. That's what they know, and that's what they want to hear. As DJs, we play the same song again and again and again, and we think, my God, people got to be getting tired of this. But no, they really aren't, because they don't hear it as often as we do. Yeah. You know, so that's something that I always have trouble keeping in mind, is that I'm not driving this into the ground because people aren't listening every minute that I'm playing, you know, so.
Absolutely. And that's a very good point. And now Marlon, he knows I have a soft spot for UFO. So he's just teasing me right here. Yeah. UFO, one of my favorite bands ever. You know that, Marlon. Thank you. But yeah, that's a very good point, Dennis, is, and I think about it this way. I play in a dad band with my brother. So we play classic rock, we play 70s and 80s music. And there are songs that I hate to play. I just hate. And it's because they're so overplayed. For instance, Freebird. Yeah. We don't play Freebird, I will say. But I would play Freebird. You know what we do play? We play Sweet Home Alabama. And every time we play it, people love it. I hate playing it. I hate playing old time rock and roll, but people love hearing it. Yeah. And so to your point, yeah, the hits, that's the common denominator, and that's what you want to hear. I saw Def Leppard on last Friday night.
Oh wow.
And first of all, I forgot how many hits they had. It was a full show. And now here's the only one-off. They are celebrating the 40th anniversary of their album Pyromania, which came out in 83 or 80.
It had been that long ago.
It's been whenever it came out. Long time ago.
That was like 10 years ago.
No, Pyromania was old.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah, totally. Seems like 10 years ago. Yeah. So other than, now here's half that album was hits, right? It was like Hysteria. Half the album was in the top 40. They were all hits. Well, they played the whole album. And so because they played the whole album, there were a few tracks on there that my wife didn't recognize. Okay, she didn't recognize Die Hard the Hunter. She didn't recognize Billy's Got a Gun, you know, but because she never listened, she listened to the radio. She listened to the hits. I knew them because I had the album and played the crap out of it. But my point is, when you go to a concert, unless you're a total Rush nerd, right, you want to hear the hits. Okay, if I went and saw Aerosmith, and I'm just grabbing them as an example, I like Aerosmith, but I'm not a huge Aerosmith fan. Okay. I want to hear the hits. Okay. There you go. He's got his Aerosmith shirt on. And you kind of got to do that with a radio station as well. But what I like about doing a show, okay, Dennis's show, and I haven't heard the show yet, Dennis. What I like about doing a show, the Classic Metal Vault is this way, is it's a chance for Dennis to say, hey, I'm I'm going to have some fun with this, and I might even play stuff that is going to surprise you, right? That's part of the fun. So Dennis and I'm speaking for Dennis. I know this about Dennis. We're both just radio nerds. Okay. You as a kid were probably like me. I listened to the radio. I would tune it in late at night. I would hear, depending on what part of the country you lived in. I lived in Oklahoma much of my life. I could hear WLS from Chicago at night. So I would listen to WLS. I would hear Larry Lujak. I would hear these famous disc jockeys play. And this was before WLS became, I think they became an oldies station. And now they're, who knows, there might be news now. But you were probably like me. You grew up at night listening to whatever radio station you could pull in. And there's the nostalgia factor. That's why the radio thing is so fun. So
the first hit I remember ever hearing was actually by Kiss. It was Beth. I remember hearing that. I don't know why that one stuck out in my head, but that's the first one I remember hearing. And so I kind of put myself into that and say, that's what got me into the rock and roll, into the rock and roll music. Before then, it was all G.I. Joes and stuff like that, before I started listening to radio.
Yeah. Well, I'm super excited to have Dennis come on board. You can check out, in fact, I'm going to put up my official banner here. My banner says, look at this. You can check out The Well Saturday and Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. to start. That may change, but to start out this Saturday, 9 a.m. If you can't hear it on Saturday, Sunday morning at 9 a.m. I just thought of that. That's 9 a.m. Pacific, right? Yeah. So 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, that's going to be noon. Do the math, right? Frank, for you, that's going to be 11. Okay. So Frank, you can tune in at 11 from Dallas. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have Dennis on periodically on the updates as well. Just because I like talking with you and it's a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to the show, Dennis. Looking forward to having you part of the Classic Guitar Rock family. And
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I want to invite all the listeners that you have garnered over the years for the Well to come on.
I will put the word out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to send you, I was supposed to send you a logo. I'll send you a logo, Dennis.
I'm great.
Awesome. So definitely follow Dennis. He's on Facebook. It's the Well Classic Rock on Facebook, right? Is that where we can?
Well Classic Rock on Facebook. Yes.
Look up the Well Classic Rock on Facebook. And we're also going to put some stuff on our website. We'll link that up there. So we'll have that as well. But Dennis, thank you for joining, and everyone joining here. Thank you. We will be hearing much more from Dennis. Hopefully you can check out the Well on Saturday or Sunday or both at 9 a.m. All right. Dennis, thanks so much. Everyone else, we'll see you. Live long and prosper. Take care. Bye-bye.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Thanks for listening. You can email Jeremy at classicguitarrock@mail.com.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Tune in each weekday for the Classic Guitar Rock Daily Update.